This story is entitled It Lived With Me, written by author Very Tall Midget 999. I moved into my new house at 25. After living with my parents my whole life, this was my first taste of total independence, and I loved it. I couldn't get enough of the peace of living alone. It was like a dream come true. At first, the creaking didn't bother me, but as it got louder and more frequent, I decided it had to stop. I searched the whole house, stepping on every floorboard meticulously, and not one made the same obnoxious sound as the creak that bothered me so. Now I had searched every room except for the loft, but by the time I had finished my thorough inspection of the house, it was already late. I was tired, so I decided to put up with it for one more night. That night, the sound was worse than ever. Every few minutes, a loud and almost haunting moan would be let out as if the house was in pain. I had had enough. I threw my blanket off, grabbed the ladder, opened the hatch, and ascended toward the black void which was my loft. I planned on just matching up there, but something possessed me to go slowly and peek into the old dusty space. This may have saved my life, as when I peered into the black room, at the furthest point stood something. It was tall and slender with pale skin. That's all I could make out in the dark, but I could tell it was facing away from me. I slowly creeped back, but just as I did, my ladder squeaked. I froze. This thing turned, and as it did, the same familiar creak echoed through the room. It was this thing's fucking joints and muscles making the sounds, and it was the most chilling realization I have ever had. All of a sudden, it moved toward me, and it became clear it wasn't human, not even remotely. A large mouth of misshaped yellow teeth, red eyes, and the distinct lack of a nose gave it away. I fell back and tumbled onto the landing, and at that moment I saw its first long and misshapen arm emerge from the loft hatch. I sprung to my feet. I was straight out of the door. I didn't bother shutting it or even looking back. I just ran for my life all the way to my friend's house where I called the police. I just said it was an intruder, or they never believed me. Shortly after, I was told by the officers that the house was empty. They guessed whoever it was had gone when I left the door open. This all occurred over a year ago, and I haven't heard the sound since. Now it's just your standard creaky floorboards. However, as I lay in bed writing this, I just hope to God that long and haunting creak underneath me was my imagination.